Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1 followed by the word Spot Media. It wasn't business as usual at Maypen Primary this morning as protesters padlocked the gates to the school compound. The Clarendon police were summoned to the institution shortly before 5 o'clock to address the situation. Placards on the school gate indicate that parents are upset with the management of the school. Chairman of Maypen Primary, Fitzmathis, says the problem stems from ongoing issues between the school's management and the parents.
Obvious breakdown in the relationship that exists here. There have been many complaints about the principal's approach and how he actually interacts with particular numbers of teachers. And we have been having the discussion and trying to find some resolution to the issue. And we have now gotten to the point where we are involved in the region to take a decision basically in the interest of the school.
Meanwhile, President of the Parent Teachers Association, Natalie Spencer-Simpson, outlined plans to resolve the dispute.
We're going to be having a meeting. I'm going to be meeting with the PTA, meeting with, as you know, we're now presently in a meeting, and so see how best we are able to cause resolution to this matter. Because the truth is we intend to work as a community for the betterment of the school.
The police eventually removed the chain and locks from the school, allowing students and the staff to enter. The protest did not prevent classes at the institution. 2 persons are in hospital following a 4-vehicle crash this morning at the intersection of Trafalgar and Holborn Road in New Kingston. District Officer at the Halfway Tree Fire Station, Patrick Levy, said a caller indicated that someone was trapped in a vehicle following the accident.
We saw 2 motor vehicles badly damaged, along with 2 other vehicles. In the 2 badly damaged motor vehicles, there were 1 persons each, the drivers. One was not badly hurt, so he was taken out. The other was trapped, and we had to do some extrication to relieve him, and he was transported to the hospital via ambulance. The other person was transported to the hospital by the police.
The leg of the passenger who was cut from the wreckage of the Toyota Noah is believed to be broken. The cause of the crash has not yet been determined. Investigators are continuing their probe into last week's car theft in Kingston, which ended in a fatal crash involving the suspected thief. It's the 4th crash since the start of the year involving a suspected car thief. Head of the Police Traffic Division, Senior Superintendent Calvin Allen, says investigators have established valuable information relating to last week's incident, and it appears that the thief was part of a network operating in Kingston. In the meantime, the acting commander of the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Branch says since the start of the year, 68 incidents of stolen vehicles have been reported. Since January 1, 45 stolen motor vehicles have been recovered. With some persons still marooned in sections of Clarendon, there's a call this afternoon for international aid for flood victims in the parish. The call was made by a councillor from Portland who has assembled a group of gospel artists to put on a fundraising concert for those affected by the recent flood rains. TVJ's Krista Campbell has been monitoring activities in Clarendon.
Frankfield in northern Clarendon remains one of the areas worst affected by the latest flood rains, so much so that appeals are being made for national and international assistance for residents. Gospel artists toured the community on the weekend, promising their own support and calling for others to follow suit.
Well, I'm in total shock as to what is happening, especially in this side of our nation. And I just went to this gentleman's house behind us, and I don't know what he's going to do. We need help, not only locally, but internationally.
I'm sending out an appeal to my fellow artists so that we can band together. We need to band together. We need to do whatever we can to help the residents in this area.
If we come together, it can happen. Calling on all artists in Jamaica
This is your time to come and help. It's not about money anymore. Just come and help. Build lives.
A gospel concert is in the making to raise funds for the worst affected residents, to include students who continue to have trouble getting to school. A councillor from Portland is putting a committee together for the fundraising concert.
I'm not sure at this point if Clarendon or the Frankfield division has been declared a disaster zone based on the various protocols of government, but this is certainly a disaster. The high schools have been affected, Claude McKay, Edwin Allen, and also the Frankfield primary schools and other schools in the area. Children have to be walking through mud and all of that.
It's costing a lot of money for the school children to traverse through the detour road up to Cupid's Park Hall, goes back down on the James Hill Road to end up in Chowtal. And I think that if we clear the landslide, even if vehicular traffic is impossible, then I'm pretty much sure the children can walk and walk safely to go to school.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
Don't shoot at the police, a warning from National Security Minister Robert Montague as he spoke at the Thanksgiving service for the late Constable Leighton Hanson yesterday. TVJ's Kirk Wright has the details.
Show of respect for a policeman who earned the love of his colleagues in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. At the Thanksgiving service, all seats were taken, leaving very little standing room for mourners. The Minister of National Security, the Commissioner of Police, and Constable Hanson's parents all attended the service. Viewing Constable Hanson's remains evoked emotional responses from many. Constable Hanson was killed. At the same hour, George Quayler was being sworn in as Police Commissioner. He says it was a bittersweet moment for him. The Minister of National Security, Bobby Montague, used his time at the podium to share a concern and warn criminals.
And I want to be clear, and I want to be quoted correctly when I say to dirty criminal, don't point your gun at my police. We have invested into the training of the police officers. And the United States government has joined us and has recently given us a simulator, a shooting simulator. We are training our police to shoot straighter and to shoot better. So don't point your gun at my police.
Mr. Montague says people are often critical of the police, yet the police play a vital role.
And I call on all Jamaicans, especially those who like to criticize the police, and to tell you all that is bad about the police. The question I would ask them, what would you do without the police?
Corporal Arlene McBean of the Police Federation says people must begin to realize cops' lives matter.
He, Constable Leighton Hanson, has certainly left an indelible mark in the lives of many and a legacy that must be treasured and emulated.
Constable Hanson's body was interred at the Meadowrest Memorial Gardens. Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom is concerned about the bill to establish the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency MOCA as an independent body. According to the Commission, the proposed changes will diminish transparency and accountability in the operations of MOCA. MOCA officers accused of breaching the rights of citizens are currently being investigated by Indicom.
We therefore, in this paper, are bringing to the attention of Parliament to say that they may very well be making an egregious error. They provide in the MOCA bill for what is called a committee, an oversight committee, to be made up of persons selected. And the oversight committee will sit as an executive body reviewing complaints. But to actually get on the ground to do the investigative work, the oversight committee will need ministerial permission to bring in another agency to conduct the investigation. One would expect this other agency may be the police. It could well be Indicom, we don't know.
The 3 floors which house the operating theatres and intensive care units at the Cornwall Regional Hospital are to be reopened this week. Operations were halted at the 10-story facility earlier this year when noxious fumes from the ventilation system forced the medical staff to vacate the first 3 floors of the hospital. Regional Director of the Western Regional Health Authority, Dr. Ken Garfield Douglas, says a mold remediation program has been undertaken to restore the ventilation system. He says minor renovations are also being carried out on the 4th, 5th and 6th floors of the hospital in St. James.
Stripping down the HVAC system. So we are taking the opportunity to also do some other refurbishing of the 2 areas, like changing doors, retiling some areas, changing some of the ceiling tiles.
Tests by the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization revealed that the fumes were caused by mold. There is a project now underway to remove zinc fences in Gregory Park, St. Catherine. Councillor for the Gregory Park Division, Joy Brown, says the plan is to replace the zinc fences with concrete structures. She says it is also a way of alleviating crime in the division.
The police will be able to monitor the community much better. This is the first phase of the project, and the aim is to remove all zinc fences, 8 residents, and replace them with concrete structure. This project comes at a significant cost, but because of contributors from New Era's Home Limited and our MP, Orlando Terrelong, and others, the cost has been reduced drastically.
Residents are grateful.
Not like we never want it to move long time, but you know, everybody have the money can do it. You understand? So I feel good and I'm joyful over it. And the most of all when I feel good is when they remove the fence and when they dig the foundation and when they start steel it up. And yesterday, you know, when time them start lay the blocks them and something, and the people them are run up and down and mix the mortar, so I feel so joyful and I feel so good. And it come like it's me who putting it up. It come like it's me putting up the wall. I feel good, I feel rich, I feel like I'm a millionaire.
And in news overseas, at least 169 persons have died due to severe flooding across the southwestern section of Sri Lanka. About 112 people are still missing, and the death toll is expected to rise. The authorities are on a massive rescue mission and are warning of possible crocodile attacks. For the details, we join the CNN.
Unfortunately, the death toll is going up with this, and it may continue to do because so many people are still missing. We take a look at some of the incredible images coming here. Here you can see a rescue vehicle just trying with overloaded, really, with some folks trying to seek refuge. The other problem, not just from the rainfall that came down, but a lot of the mudslides that were triggered from that heavy rain as well, now beginning the cleanup process in a lot of these communities into Sri Lanka. Now, here's a look at the last 24 hours. Most of the heavy rain, at least the recent past, has been a little bit closer over towards Myanmar, off to the northeast where that tropical system is located. That means that at least for Sri Lanka, we've had at least some portion of time to dry back out. That allows the rescue efforts to get in there and try to help a lot of the people there. It also allows helicopters to be able to get in and maybe provide at least airdrop some relief for a lot of the folks there, and they need it. Look at some of these incredible totals. We're talking over 200 millimeters of rain on portions of the south side and about 450 as you get a little bit closer into central Sri Lanka. So again, a lot of this rain came down in 24 to 48 hours.
And in sports, Portmore United have made it to a second consecutive Red Stripe Premier League final after overcoming a 2-1 first-leg deficit to beat UWI 2-0 on Sunday.
4 times before Sunday with 2 wins apiece, and after securing a 2-1 first leg away win, UWI were very much in the driver's seat with Arnett Gardens already waiting in the wings. The Marcel Gale coach team started on the front foot and might have been in front but for faulty shooting. Portmore United were most dangerous with creative players Malik Foster and Ricardo Morris causing problems, but poor execution in the final third resulted in a goalless first half. It was much of the same for the second half, with Portmore United in search of the go-ahead goal, but UWI were stout in defence until 8 minutes from time, when it was pried open by a sweeping move which resulted in a Jamie Robinson own goal. So it was 2-2 in aggregate after full time. The game petered out during the extra time period until a moment of individual brilliance from Michael Binns dumped UWI out of the competition.
Grandison and Binns, I think this one will be hit by Grandison. It isn't. It's hit by Binns and it ends in the back of the net. He takes his shirt off. Well, he doesn't. He was going to do it. Michael Binns. And I think he fooled everyone, because normally from that position, a right footer would take it. It's not over yet, but it's in the 116th minute. Portmore, they go 2-0.
We're really nervous, of course, because seeing the chances that we create, not much, but, a couple chances where we should have scored. So, more the game goes, you get anxious, and so on. And then we have to make some changes, definitely, and it pay off.
Credit my players for hard work all season. I mean, one could have made several adjustments and make several changes based on the farmer, but we are grateful and we're thankful to God. I mean, today too brilliant. I think the second goal is a brilliant goal, beat us from a dead ball situation, and there's much you can do about as a coach. But I mean, congrats to Portmore, but well try you. I thought we played well.
So it's the 5-time champions Portmore United versus 4-time champions Arnett Gardens in the June 5 final at the National Stadium.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of our news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.